Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump has been keeping a low profile without any public appearances in 11 days. But that changes tonight as Trump holds a rally at his golf resort in Miami. CBS News has confirmed that he'll be joined by Florida Senator Marco Rubio, who is currently rumored to be on Trump's short list of potential vice president picks. The CBS News campaign reporter Olivia Rinaldi is joining us now from Miami to talk a little bit more about this. Let's begin with the Trump rally today. What can we expect? And might there be any hints as to who Trump, plans on picking for his running mate?
Anne-Marie, it's the question I keep being asked. Who is Trump going to pick, and when is he going to pick them? I've been talking with senior campaign advisors who tell me that pick could come as soon as 10 minutes from now or 1 minute before the convention. And even Donald Trump himself has talked about that pick. Last night on Sean Hannity, he teased and said he still doesn't know who he's going to pick, and he still doesn't know when he's going to announce it. However, there are some teases that he's been leaving along the way, some little breadcrumbs, including today, Senator Marco Rubio, Florida, as you mentioned. He'll be at that rally here in Doral, just a little bit north of Miami, where I am right now. He is someone who is on that short list. We also know that Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio is someone who is also on that list, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum is someone. Those three are the names I keep hearing. Donald Trump says he's still not sure who he's going to pick. They want to drag it out until the convention, and that also plays for them politically. You just talked to Nancy about some of the infighting that Democrats have been having. Donald Trump has been staying way out of the limelight, 11 days off the campaign trail. I can't remember the last time that happened as I've been covering this campaign, but it's all necessary just to wait and see what's going on with the Democrats, and I have a feeling that kind of played into this decision to perhaps let this vice presidential pick wait out as long as we have. But we should know hopefully within the week, Anne-Marie.
So meanwhile, the Republican National Committee has adopted a party platform that opposes a federal abortion ban. And this certainly reflects former President Trump's position. For a long time, Republicans and candidates, particularly during the primary, they were having a really hard time figuring out what their messaging was going to be on abortion. Can you talk about why this is significant, that there is not a requirement or inclusion for a nationwide sort of ban? And how much does this have to do with Trump's influence?
This is a great example of Trump's influence over the party. He holds this party really with a fist, and he controls it now. I mean, remember that the Trump campaign and the RNC merged earlier this year to basically become one entity, and they did that quite early in this cycle. And basically that meant that the party is now Trump's party, really making that official. So it's only natural that the party would reflect what Donald Trump's position on abortion is. And we do know that that position is he has, supported restrictions on abortion for 3 restrictions: rape, incest, life of the mother. And he's also said that it's up to the states. Now, that is something that is very key because that's something that Democrats seize on. They say that Donald Trump, if he's back in office, will want to enact a federal abortion ban. He has said time again that he will not do that. And instead, he has said that I believe it's up to the states whether you want a 6-week restriction or whether you want a 15-week restriction. That's up to a state to make. So part of this adopting his platform for the RNC really negates any of those questions that he might be getting about a federal abortion ban, and it reflects where he thinks the party should go in the future on this issue.
All right, Olivia, thank you.